Sarah's hands trembled as she checked her phone. 20 minutes until the blind date her sister had insisted she couldn't miss. 20 minutes to meet the man her best friend swore was perfect husband. Material. 20 minutes that evaporated the moment. She saw the overturned stroller in the ditch beside the muddy construction site. The corporate heels came off first. Then came the plunge into the cold, thick mud that swallowed her designer dress, the one she'd saved 3 months to buy, the one that was supposed to make her feel beautiful again. After 2 years of single, motherhood had worn her confidence thin. None of that mattered when she heard the baby crying. Across town, Marcus Chen straightened his tie for the 3rd time, ignoring his assistant's knowing smirk. The CEO of Chen Industries didn't do blind dates. He'd built a tech empire by trusting data, not matchmakers. But his grandmother's tears had finally broken him. "You're 38 and married to your company," she'd said. "Just meet her once. For me?" So here he sat in the city's most exclusive restaurant, bouquet of roses on the table, watching the door with the same intensity he brought to board meetings. Sarah's knees burned as she crawled deeper into the ditch. The young mother, barely 20, face pale with shock, was clutching her leg at an unnatural angle. The baby, maybe 6 months old, screamed from where the stroller had landed sideways, one wheel spinning uselessly in the air. No one else had stopped. Cars rushed past, splashing more mud onto Sarah's back as she reached the child. "I've got him! I've got him!" Sarah called out, her voice steadier than her hands as she lifted the infant from the stroller, checking for injuries with the practiced efficiency of someone who'd spent countless nights soothing her own daughter. Through fevers and falls, the baby was terrified but unharmed. The mother wasn't so lucky. Marcus checked his watch. 30 minutes late. He'd given her more time than he'd given most business proposals. His phone buzzed with emails demanding attention, each one a convenient excuse to leave. The waiter hovered nearby, sympathy mixing with judgment in his expression. Marcus had seen that look before, successful, single, probably too demanding. Maybe his grandmother was wrong. Maybe some people were meant to build companies, not families. His finger was hovering over the call button for his driver when something made him look up. The restaurant's entrance doors opened and every head turned. Sarah stood in the doorway, covered head to toe in mud. It dripped from her hair, caked her face, and transformed her dress into something unrecognizable. She clutched her broken heels in one hand and her purse, somehow still over her shoulder, in the other. Mascara tracked down her cheeks where she'd clearly been crying. The maitre d' moved to intercept her, but Sarah's eyes were already scanning the room with desperate hope until they landed on the only man, sitting alone with roses on his table. Marcus's first instinct was to look away, to pretend he didn't see her. This couldn't possibly be his date, but something in her expression stopped him, not embarrassment, but raw, unfiltered urgency. "I am so sorry," Sarah said, rushing toward him before the maitre d' could escort her out. Other diners whispered and stared. "I know how this looks. I know I'm late and I'm a complete disaster, but there was an accident and a baby and the ambulance just left and—" Her voice cracked. "I'm Sarah. I was supposed to be here 45 minutes ago, looking like a normal person." Marcus stood slowly, his analytical mind trying to process the data in front of him. The mud wasn't just splattered, she was covered in it. The kind that only came from prolonged contact with the ground. Her knees were scraped and bleeding. Her hands were shaking. This wasn't someone who'd had a fender bender and panicked. This was someone who'd been through something. "The baby?" he asked quietly. Sarah's eyes widened slightly. Of all the questions she'd expected, why didn't you call? Why didn't you reschedule? What's wrong with you? That wasn't one of them. Safe. The paramedics said safe. Fresh tears spilled over. His mom broke her leg. She was alone, and the stroller flipped into a construction ditch, and everyone just kept driving. I couldn't just drive past. The restaurant had gone completely silent. Marcus was aware of every eye on them, every phone probably recording this moment. Tomorrow, the CEO of Chen Industries would either be a viral sensation or a cautionary tale. He'd built his reputation on making smart, calculated decisions. He picked up the roses and held them out to her. "These are going to get muddy," he said. Sarah let out a sound between a laugh and a sob. taking them with trembling hands. I ruined this. I ruined everything. You don't have to— Do you have clothes to change into? Marcus asked. In my car. I was going to change at the gym before coming here, but my office is 2 blocks away. Come on. He placed his hand gently on her back, guiding her toward the door before she could protest. As they passed the maitre d', Marcus slipped him his card. For the table, and buy dinner for everyone here tonight who's been recording on their phones. Maybe they'll remember that compassion looks messy sometimes. In Marcus's private office suite, Sarah emerged from the bathroom 20 minutes later, cleaned up and wearing jeans and a simple sweater, what she'd planned. To drive home in, her hair was still damp from the sink, her face scrubbed clean of the mud and ruined makeup. She looked exhausted, and somehow more beautiful than any woman he'd ever seen in that restaurant. I should have called, she said quietly. I had my phone. My brain stopped working normally. Marcus had ordered food delivered to his office. Nothing fancy. Just good pasta from a place that didn't care about reservations or dress codes. He handed her a plate. Tell me what happened. All of it. So she did. She told him about seeing the accident, about the construction site everyone knew was dangerous, about how the young mother had been crying that she couldn't afford to miss her shift at work. Sarah explained how she'd stayed until the ambulance arrived, had given the paramedics her number to pass along, had promised the mother she'd check on them at the hospital tomorrow. I have a daughter, Sarah added quietly. She's 5, and I know what it's like to feel alone and scared and like the world just keeps spinning without stopping for you. I couldn't leave her there. Marcus set down his fork. Why were you crying? In the restaurant, I mean. The baby was safe. Sarah's laugh was bitter. Because I'd destroyed any chance at this date. Because I knew how it looked. Because my daughter's at my mom's house, probably asleep by now, and she was so excited for me tonight. She picked out my dress. She said, Mommy, you look like a princess. And I destroyed it helping someone else when maybe tonight was supposed to be about me for once. She wiped her eyes. That's selfish, isn't it? That's human, Marcus said. Being selfless doesn't mean you're not allowed to want things for yourself. He paused, choosing his words carefully. I was about to leave when you walked in. I'd decided you weren't coming, that this whole thing was a waste of time. Sarah's face fell. I understand. And then I saw you, he continued. Covered in mud, crying, apologizing, explaining about a baby you didn't know. And I realized something. He leaned forward. I've spent 15 years building a company by finding people with good judgment under pressure. People who do the right thing when it costs them something. People who show up even when they're broken. He smiled. You did all of that tonight. I showed up covered in mud to the city's nicest restaurant. You showed up honest. Do you know how rare that is? Marcus stood and walked to his window overlooking the city. I'm good at reading people, Sarah. It's how I've stayed successful. And everything about tonight told me exactly who you are. Someone who stops. Someone who helps. Someone who keeps promises even when it destroys her own plans. He turned back to her. That's not someone I walk away from. That's someone I'd like to get to know. Sarah felt something crack, open in her chest. Some wall she'd built around hope after her ex-husband left, after the lonely nights and the struggles, and the constant feeling that she had to be perfect to deserve love again. I'm a single mom, she said quietly. I have a 5-year-old who comes first, always. I work 2 jobs. I drive a car with a broken air conditioner. My life is complicated and messy and you just ruined a dress you probably couldn't afford to save a stranger's baby, Marcus finished. I heard that part. He sat back down across from her. I'm a workaholic CEO who missed his sister's wedding for a product launch. I don't know how to not check my email. My grandmother's threatening to disown me if I don't figure out how to be a human being. Again, his smile was self-deprecating. Complicated and messy sounds like we'd fit. They talked until midnight in that office. Sarah learned that Marcus's empire had started with a scholarship he'd almost lost. That his success was built on the memory of a teacher who'd believed in him when no one else did. Marcus learned about Sarah's daughter, Emma, about the school plays and the bedtime stories, about the way being a mother had taught Sarah that love meant showing up even when you were tired. Can I see you again? Marcus asked as he walked her to her car. Maybe somewhere without dress codes this time? Sarah smiled, really smiled, for the first time that night. There's a playground near my apartment. Emma would love to show you her swing routine. A playground. With a 5-year-old judge? High stakes. Marcus laughed. I'll be there. As Sarah drove home that night, still finding mud in unexpected places, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. The mother from tonight wanted you to know they're both okay. She says you're her guardian angel. Below it, another text from Marcus. Not a guardian angel. Just someone who stopped. That's its own kind of magic. Sarah pulled into her driveway and sat for a moment in the darkness, holding her phone, thinking about the strange way life worked. She'd lost a dress and gained scraped knees. She'd missed a perfect first impression and made an honest one instead. She'd shown up as her messy, complicated, beautiful self, and someone had decided that was exactly enough. Tomorrow she'd tell Emma about the night Mommy met someone special by being exactly who she'd taught her daughter to be, someone who helps when it's hard, who shows up even when it's scary, who believes that kindness is never wasted. Tonight, covered in the evidence of her choice, Sarah felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope that maybe the right person doesn't fall in love with your perfection, but with the beautiful mess you become when you're busy being human.